The door slammed in my face with a crack that split the night like thunder. Rain pounding my shoulders as if the sky itself were grieving. "You're not family anymore, Giovanni. Not after what you've become." Carla's voice sliced through the wood, sharp as the switchblade she'd once threatened me with in her rants. I staggered back, Mom's ashes heavy in my trembling arms, the urn slipping from my numb fingers to clatter on the wet concrete. In that moment, I knew exile tasted like Ohio mud and broken promises. I was 22, fresh out of the haze of Mom's funeral in Chicago, where the wind off Lake Michigan had whipped her eulogy into whispers no one could hear. Cancer had taken her slow, a thief in the night that left me hollowed out, sifting through her apartment for scraps of a life we'd built without Dad. David, my father, if you could call a man who'd vanished when I was 10 by that name, had reappeared 2 years back, all apologies and half-hearted calls, promising a room in his new life downstate. Ohio, he said, like it was some promised land. Suburban bliss in Dayton, with a white picket fence and a woman who baked pies that tasted like regret. I'd packed my beat-up Honda Civic with what little I owned. Books on Keats, a guitar with 3 broken strings, faded photos of Mom laughing at Cubs games, and driven south, chasing the ghost of reconciliation. The road blurred under wipers that squeaked like accusations, and by the time I crossed the state line, hope felt as thin as the dollar bills in my wallet. Pulling into the driveway of 1427 Elmwood Lane, the house looked like a postcard from someone else's story. Vinyl siding the color of faded dreams, a lawn mowed too short, porch swing creaking in the breeze. David's truck was there, a Ford F-150 with mud-caked tires from his construction job. I killed the engine, sat for a minute staring at the front door, heart hammering like it did before Mom's chemo rounds. This was it. Home or whatever passed for it now. I grabbed the urn from the passenger seat, her final request, to be scattered where the roots run deep, and stepped out, gravel crunching under my boots. The door opened before I could knock. David stood there, broad-shouldered and weathered, his salt and pepper hair cropped close like he was still in the Marines. He looked older than 48, lines etched from years of swinging hammers and dodging demons. "Gio," he said, voice rough as sandpaper, pulling me into a hug that smelled of sawdust and Old Spice. It was awkward, bones knocking, but real. For a second, I let myself believe in second chances. Then she appeared behind him, arms crossed like a warden. Carla, mid-40s, peroxide blonde piled high, lips painted the color of stop signs. She'd been David's rock for 5 years, the one who'd convinced him to leave the bottle behind and buy this house. Mom had called her the interloper in her weaker moments, spitting the word through morphine fog. "So, this is him," Carla said, eyes narrowing over my shoulder at the Civic loaded with boxes. No hello, no handshake, just assessment, like I was a stray dog sniffing at her azaleas. David clapped my back, steering me inside. "Come on, son. Let's get you settled." The living room was all beige and beige. Beige couch, beige carpet, framed prints of lighthouses that screamed. We gave up on color. A cross-stitched "Home Sweet Home" hung crooked above the mantel. I set the urn down gently, like it might shatter the illusion. Carla hovered, wiping invisible dust from the coffee table. "Dinner's almost ready," she announced, not looking at me. "Hope you like meatloaf. We don't do that city vegan nonsense here." I bit back a laugh. Vegan? Mom had force-fed me Italian sausage subs on Sundays. But I nodded, unpacking the silence with small talk about the drive. David asked about the funeral, his eyes darting to the urn. "She was tough, your mom. Tougher than me." I told him about the wake, how her friends had toasted with Chianti and stories of her nursing days, how the rabbi had quoted psalms about valleys of shadow. He nodded, throat working like he swallowed glass. Carla set plates down harder than necessary. "Pass the salt, David. And Giovanni, try not to track mud everywhere. This ain't a motel." That first night set the tone. My room was upstairs, a spare that smelled of mothballs and fresh paint. Single bed pushed against a window overlooking the neighbor's chain-link fence. I unpacked slowly, hanging Mom's old scarf on the bedpost, stacking my books on a nightstand scarred from who knows what. Downstairs, their voices murmured. David's low rumble, Carla's clipped edges. I caught fragments. Not sure how long. His kind. Sleep came fitful, Dreams of Mom's hand in mine, dissolving into rain. Morning broke gray, the kind of Ohio November that clings like damp laundry. I woke to the sizzle of bacon, dragged on jeans and a hoodie, headed down. David was at the stove, flipping strips, whistling off-key to some country tune on the radio. "Morning, champ. Coffee?" He poured black sludge into a mug, the way I liked it, strong enough to strip paint. Carla sat at the table, scrolling her phone, dressed for her real estate gig in a blouse that strained at the buttons. She glanced up, lips pursing. "Sleep okay? Walls are thin here. Hope you didn't snore." I forced a smile, sipping the burn. "Like a baby." Lies. David slid eggs onto plates, talking shop. Some new subdivision going up. How the economy was finally turning. I nodded, picking at food that tasted like cardboard. Under the table, my phone buzzed. A text from my best friend back in Chicago. "Lena. How's Stepford? Survive the pod people?" I typed back, "Barely. Send help." After breakfast, David offered to show me around town. We climbed into his truck, windows down despite the chill. Radio crackling with static and ads for tractor pulls. Dayton unfolded like a faded snapshot. Strip malls with flickering neon, factories shuttered since the 80s. Rivers that ran brown under iron bridges. "Used to be Boomtown," he said, pointing to a boarded-up GM plant. "Your granddad worked there 40 years. Gave me this." He tapped a silver watch on his wrist, engraved with initials I didn't recognize. We stopped at a diner called Mel's, all chrome stools and pie under glass. Over burgers, he opened up how he'd spiraled after the divorce, lost the custody fight, drowned in whiskey until Carla dragged him to AA. "She's my anchor, Gio. Without her, I'd be under a bridge somewhere." I chewed slow, ketchup blurring the edges. "What about me? You ever think about coming back?" The question hung greasy and raw. He stared at his fries, then met my eyes, blue like mine, but faded. "Every damn day. But life, it moves. You forgive an old man." I wanted to. God, I did. "Yeah, Dad. Water under the bridge." Lies again, but the kind that build dams. Back home, Carla was waiting, arms loaded with grocery bags. "Help unload," she barked, thrusting a sack at me. I carried it in, setting cans on counters while she inventoried like a drill sergeant. "David says you're, what, an artist? Or some college dropout chasing dreams?" Her tone dripped acid, eyes flicking to my tattoo. A small rainbow flag inked on my wrist, Mom's quiet rebellion after I came out at 18. "Graphic design," I said evenly, stacking soup tins. "Freelancing while I figure things out." Truth. I'd scraped by with logos for local bands, but Mom's medical bills had eaten my savings. Carla snorted. "Figure things out. That's rich. This house ain't a halfway house for strays." David walked in then, oblivious, kissing her cheek. She melted into him, shooting me a look that said mine. That afternoon, I escaped to the backyard, a patchy square of grass hemmed by fences. Mom's urn sat on the picnic table, brass glinting dully. I traced the engravings, her name, dates. "Beloved wanderer. Scatter her here? In this stranger's yard?" The thought soured. A fence slat creaked. I looked up to see the neighbor peering over, a guy my age with tousled brown hair and a toolbox at his feet. "Hey, man. New blood." He grinned easy as pie, extending a calloused hand. "I'm Ethan. Live next door with my folks. Saw the truck. Welcome wagon." I shook, surprised. "Giovanni. Just moved in." Up close, he was all freckles and green eyes. Flannel shirt rolled to elbows showing ropey forearms. "Carpenter, maybe." "Gio," I corrected. "Ethan. Cool. Dad's the foreman type." He laughed, a sound like relief. "Nah, I'm the handyman for the whole block. Widower next door needed shelves." He jerked a thumb at a house across the way. We chatted, him about high school football scars, me dodging with vague Chicago tales. When Carla's voice cut through the screen door, "Dinner." Ethan waved. "Catch you later. Coffee at the Beanery downtown? My treat." I nodded, warmth cutting the chill. Maybe Ohio wouldn't swallow me whole. The days blurred into a rhythm that chafed like ill-fitting shoes. Mornings, David's coffee and Carla's glares. Afternoons, job hunts on my laptop, emails to clients ghosting me, resumes vanishing into HR black holes. Evenings, tense meals where conversation skirted landmines. Politics, she was Fox News faithful, I leaned left. Faith, her Bible study group versus my agnostic drift. And worst, me. So, Giovanni, she'd probe over green beans. Any girls back home? Nice Italian boy like you must break hearts. David would cough, change the subject to weather. I'd smile tight. Nah, keeping options open. I'd come out to mom at 17, her hugging me fierce. Love who lights your fire, baby. Just don't let it burn you. She'd met Lena's brother once. Awkward but kind. But dad? I'd tested waters in a call last year. I'm gay, dad. Silence then. That's modern. As long as you're happy. No fireworks, no fallout. Until Carla. Ethan became my lifeline. The beanery was a hole in the wall on 5th Street. Mismatched mugs and chalkboard specials scrawled in loopy cursive. First visit, he bought lattes, we talked for hours. Him venting about community college dropout. Me about mom's laugh echoing in empty rooms. He was straight, I clocked quick from stories of exes named Brittany. But his easy vibe, no judgment, just presence. Felt like oxygen. You're not what I expected from David's kid, he said one afternoon, stirring sugar. Thought it'd be some brooding city slicker. But you're real. I flushed, hiding behind my cup. Flattery gets you refills. We walked the riverfront after, leaves crunching underfoot. Great Miami sluggish and silver. He slung an arm around my shoulders, brotherly, but it lingered. Stick around, Gio. This town's got heart if you dig. Digging revealed thorns. Carla's barbs sharpened. One night, I overheard her on the phone in the kitchen. David, he's gay. For Christ's sake. Bringing that into our home? What if the neighbors talk? My stomach dropped. I backed away silent, heart pounding. David murmured placations, but no fire. Betrayal's first sting, passive, poisonous. I confronted him alone the next day, in the garage amid toolboxes and oil stains. Dad, you hear her? About me? He wiped hands on a rag, avoiding my eyes. Carla's old school, son. Church-raised. Give her time. Time. Like I was a stain to fade. And you? What do you think? He sighed. Heavy. I think love's love. But she's my wife. We make compromises. Compromise. The word curdled. That night, I texted Ethan. Beer? Need to vent. He met me at O'Malley's. A dive with peanut shells on the floor and darts thudding like heartbeats. Over pints, I spilled Carla's whispers, Dad's dodge. Ethan listened. No interruptions. Then leaned in. Fuck that noise, Gio. You're gold. Deserve better. His hand covered mine on the bar, thumb brushing knuckles. Electric. I pulled back slow, searching his face. Not brotherly now. Ethan. He smiled sheepish, withdrawing. Hey, no pressure. But if you're looking, I'm open. Open. The word unlocked something caged. We left together, his truck idling outside my house. No kiss. Just a hug that pressed close, his breath warm on my neck. Night, Gio. Sleep was feverish, dreams tangled with mom's voice. Follow the light. Waking, resolve hardened. I'd stay, fight for scraps of family, but build my own world too. Little did I know the storm was gathering. Winter clamped down hard, snow blanketing Elmwood Lane in hush-white lies. Christmas loomed, a minefield of tinsel and tradition. David strung lights on the roof, me holding the ladder steady. Carla inside baking gingerbread men with icing smiles too perfect. Family time, she declared, shoving a tray at me. Decorate. Make it pretty. I did, piping eyes that stared accusatory. Ethan invited me to his folks for eggnog. A cozy ranch house smelling of pine and cloves. His dad, a burly vet with a prosthetic leg, clapped my shoulder. Heard you're the new neighbor. Welcome. Mom served pie, asking about Chicago winters. Ethan and I stole moments on the porch, bundled in coats, breath fogging as we talked futures. Him eyeing trade school for plumbing, me dreaming graphic gigs in Columbus. Run with me, he said, eyes earnest. We could be good. My heart tripped. Yeah, we could. But home soured. Carla's acceptance was a trap. She'd snoop my room when I was out. Drawers rifled, laptop angled wrong. Found my journal once. Entries about Ethan underlined in red pen. Sinner? Slipped under my door anonymous. I confronted her in the laundry room, bleach fumes stinging. This yours? She feigned shock, then sneered. Just concerned. David's too soft. That boy's poison. Leading you astray. Ethan's a friend. Lie of omission. She stepped close, voice venom low. Friends don't touch like that. I saw you. In his truck. Heat flooded my face. Spied on. Mind your business, Carla. It's my house. The words landed like slaps. David mediated that night. Us three at the kitchen table like a warped tribunal. Enough, he growled, but his eyes pleaded. We're family. Act like it. Carla wept crocodile tears. I'm scared for him. For us. Me? Silent fury. I stormed out, crunching snow to Ethan's door. He pulled me in, no questions, just arms and quiet. We kissed then. Tentative, then fierce, mouths tasting of mint and possibility. Collapsed on his couch, clothes on, just holding, his heartbeat sinking mine. I got you, he whispered. First truth in months. Spring thawed the ground but not the ice in our house. I landed freelance work, logos for a local brewery, enough for gas money. Ethan and I deepened. Walks in Carriage Hill Metropark, hands laced hidden, picnics where we'd laugh till sides ached. He met Mom's urn one day, tracing it gentle. Strong lady, like her son. Love bloomed quiet, roots pushing through concrete. But Carla escalated. Anonymous calls to Ethan's work. Rumors of that queer kid corrupting good boys. Vandalism on my Civic. Fag keyed in pink paint. Dad cleaned it silent, jaw tight. Kids, he muttered. I knew. The breaking point came Memorial Day weekend. Block party on Elmwood, grills smoking. Kids shrieking on slip-and-slides. Beer flowing from coolers. David manned the burgers, proud host. Carla fluttered. All smiles for neighbors. Ethan arrived with his folks, bearing potato salad. I introduced him casual. My buddy Ethan, his hand on my backburn brand. Mid-afternoon, Carla cornered me by the garage, breath sour with wine. End it, or I tell David everything. How you're whoring around, disrespecting his roof. Rage boiled. It's love, Carla. Real. You wouldn't know. She laughed bitter. Love? That's sin. Get out before you drag us to hell. I shoved past, found Ethan by the fence. We gotta talk. Pulled him aside, spilled her threat. His face hardened. Screw her. Move in with me. My folks are cool. Tempting. But Dad. One more shot. Confront them together. Foolish hope. That night, storm clouds rolled in. Thunder rumbling like warnings ignored. Dinner was civil, steaks charred. Corn buttered gold. Post-meal, I cleared throat. Dad, Carla, we need to talk. About me. About Ethan. David paused, fork midway. Carla's eyes glittered. I laid it bare. Love, not sin. Family, not fracture. Accept me or let me go. But no more poison. Silence stretched, electric. David looked torn, glancing at Carla. She struck first. He's lying, David. I saw texts, filthy promises. He's ruining everything we built. Betrayal's blade twisted. Dad's face crumpled. Gio, I can't. Not like this. She's right, we're traditional. Find your own path, son. Elsewhere. The room spun. Dad. Voice cracked child. He wouldn't meet eyes. Carla smirked triumph. I bolted upstairs, slamming door, packing frantic. Books tumbling, scarf clutched. Rain lashed windows, mirroring tears. Ethan texted. Where are you? I drove blind, tires hydroplaning to his street. Barked crooked, pounded door. He answered tousled, concern etching. Gio, what? Words failed. I kissed him desperate, salt on lips. He held me as sobs racked, story pouring out. Stay, he urged. Here, with me. Dawn broke watery. Me curled on his bed. Urn on nightstand sentinel. Called David voicemail. Don't do this. Please. No reply. Days bled. I crashed at Ethan's job remote, heart raw. Carla's victory lap. Texts from concerned neighbors. Whispers at the beanery. Mom's ashes waited, unscattered. Climax shattered mid-June, heat wave sticky as guilt. David called, voice wrecked. Come home, please. We talk. Trap? Or truce? I went, Ethan waiting in truck. House hummed empty. Carla at work. Dad sat kitchen, head bowed. Bottle half empty on counter. Relapse stench. She lied, son. About the texts. Showed me fakes, printed poison. I failed you. Again. Sobs choked him. I froze doorway, urn heavy in arms. Why believe her? Over me. Fear, he whispered, of losing another family. But I lost you twice now. Forgive. I pleaded, mirrors of mine. Rage ward mercy. Mom's voice echoed. Roots run deep. I set urn down, pulled chair. Maybe. But Carla goes. Or I do. He nodded slow. She's packing. Tonight. Truth dawned. Her bags by door when I returned with Ethan. She sneered last. You'll regret. Door shut final. Healing stuttered. Dad entered therapy, solo first, then family. Ethan and I built slow. Dates at drive-ins, weekends hiking 5 rivers. Love deepened, humanistic anchor, flaws and all. Summer's end. We scattered Mom's ashes by the river. David there too. Wind caught flakes, silver in sun. To wanderers. I toasted. He hugged me fierce. Proud, son. Always was. Not perfect, scars linger, Carla's shadow. But home is chosen. With Ethan beside, hand in mine, and Dad learning grace. Echoes fade, new songs rise.